Hola. Hi. I am testing the audio. It looks like it's working. I think it's working. And well, I'm just going to jump right in and start talking about the eclipse energy that's going to be surrounding us this October 2022. It's going to be a new moon eclipse in Scorpio, which is a great sign. And we will be discussing about how the energy of this eclipse affects everyone as their rising sign. So first I'm going to go and talk about the overall energy that has been leading up to this moment and the changes that have been destined that are coming because of this moment. So I'm going to go ahead and I just got confirmation that you can hear me. Great. Thank you. And um, just 1 second. Sorry. All right. All right. So let's first of all let's begin talking about Scorpio because one of the things that's going to happen with this eclipse and that happens with eclipses is that the overall energy of the sign changes. So, like we know, nothing in this world stays the same. And even signs and their dominant characteristics will change over time. Just like as time has progressed, we've discovered new planets and or are now able to see planets that we were not able to see before, like Uranus and Pluto, Neptune. All these planets were not there at the beginning of astrology. And since we started discovering new planets and learning new things and evolving as humanity, the signs have also changed. The rulers of the signs have changed. And that's going to continue to happen. So, and my theory would go that every time there's an eclipse or a north node or a south node in a sign, it means that that sign is losing or earning, depending if it's north or south node, one of its predominant characteristics and changing. So right now, the sign of Scorpio is going through a huge change. It's letting go um, strong characteristics that made the sign, and it's gonna evolve into have new characteristics. Exactly what the new characteristics will be, it's gonna be hard to tell right now because it's something that's gonna happen over time as the sign adjusts to the new world. Now, what we know about Scorpio is that it defines the energy, like power. It comes from Mars, and Mars is more than war. It's about the power that makes things happen, such as the power that lies dormant in a seed, but it's there and it makes the seed turn into a tree. That's Mars energy. Mars is the willpower and the way you focus your energy into creating, doing, and evolving. It's amazing how something as small as a seed can hold enough energy to make a tree that will grow. You've seen trees, like, you know how big trees can be and how sturdy they can be. And it comes from energy that's compacted into a little seed. That's Mars energy, that's Scorpio energy. And then Scorpio is not just about the energy, but learning how to use the energy and about directing the energy. So it's you can contrast it with Aries because Aries is also a son of Mars, but Aries has less direction, less control. Like it goes, like you put it in motion and it keeps going into that motion. Scorpio will be like looking at the path and be like, oh, it's better if there I like jump or if I crawl, and if I skip that part, they're gonna be predetermining how their energy is gonna be used. So as a collective, we're all going to be taking note at a subconscious level or of how we use our energy and how this energy will be better used to get us closer to our life's desire, because this is a south node eclipse. So whatever we're letting go right now, it's going to help us make space to eventually get closer to what we're here for, what the stars intended us to do. Now, this is going to be an intense time, but it's going to be like a smart intensity because of the air triangle that's in the sky right now. Even though the energy that we're going into with Jupiter going into Aries and the stellium that's going to be happening in Scorpio, all that passionate Mars energy is going to begin with a logical steering wheel. So it's going to be very important to, yes, listen to our passions, but with a brain. Thank God that we have Saturn in Aquarius and still the Sun in Libra and Mars in Gemini, because this detached air energy is exactly what we need to get through this time of the intense Mars energy that we're going to have. So, with the enter of Jupiter to Aries, we're going to have to watch out a little bit because people will be in the mood for a revolution. People might be more prone to accidents just because of Aries and how that energy is. And also will be very, very motivated and like going after what you want, and yeah, very powerful. We're going to be very powerful this year because of the Jupiter in Aries. So that's something to look forward to. And then as the collective, we're going to have, we're going into a time that's going to be precious in human history because it's when we break away from a pyramid structure of power. So all over the world, in society, in government, in business, we've been seeing that the structure of power is with the person at the top and the rest at the bottom. And somehow this small group has more power than what's best for everyone. And we're going to see that flip right now, where the people have the power. One of the main things that's going to lead to that redistribution of power is cryptocurrency and the blockchain. So just like before, and this is a perfect example of the change that's happening worldwide, is before the bank, and maybe there were less banks before, that were in charge of your money, and the banks had really close ties with government. So if your like if your account in some countries didn't have funds, you would get overdraft fees, and you would get fees because you don't have money. So that kind of stuff, it's an example of the abuse of power that the structure that had been put in place to take care of you, of us, of our money, because banks are our service. Like, we don't work for them, they work for us, like, it's like, dude, you're just taking care of my money, like, stop trying to put all these fees there for nothing. So that's going to change because of the abuse of power that government and banks have been doing. We're going to see revolutions. And going back to the bank, so it was centralized banking systems that work so closely to the government were a danger and a threat to the freedom of people. And we're going to see that change into cryptocurrency where there's no more laws about if you can or cannot trade with certain countries because there's not a treaty of commerce with those countries. And so even if your government has a ban on Cuba, you can still you're with blockchain, you're still going to be able to buy Cuban sugar or rum or whatever you want to buy without going through the government, because that those boundaries are going to be dissolved as long as you're not using the government money that goes through the bank. And with blockchain, where it's not just one centralized bank taking care of everyone's money, but rather and saying if people have or not access to that money, and in any moment being like, no, your bank has been frozen because you did something that might be like illegal or not. I'm not trying to defend anyone who's done something that's not right, but I will stand for freedom and um, and having people control the way we use our money is not free. So now with blockchain, we see that like before it was one bank, everyone had to listen to the one bank, and now with blockchain it flips and it's everyone agrees that that transaction happened, so it happened. But if not everyone has the same agreement, then it didn't happen. And that gives a lot of freedom because not everyone's gonna get together to form this 1% group that had been happening in the power structures all over the world. So we're happy to be a part of that change, and let's welcome it with open arms. So everybody get their wallets, get your like crypto wallets, do your research, find out what the best coin for you is. I mean, there's coins for dollars, there's coins for euros. I mean, it's the new bank. So that's the most important change. And I will go ahead and say that buy now, because by the end of the year, the price is going to be way higher. And another massive change that we're going to see is not just in the banking system, how the liberty is coming in, but also in society in general. We're seeing it in Iran right now, and we're seeing protests all over the world where people are just fed up because the government that's supposed to be taking care of the people has not been taking care of the people. So we're not going to take it anymore. And with Saturn going into Pisces, there's going to be a dissolvement of barriers and just an overall softening of boundaries and softening of the rigid structures that were trying to be put into place. So in the months leading up to this moment in time right now, um, we took a step back, and we saw that with the Saturn squares, where Saturn was getting a square, and at the same time they were starting to ban abortion in states that had already legalized this woman's right. And not just in the US but also in Latin America, we saw that people were again trying to ban abortion in countries that had already just made it legal, trying to ban gay and LGBT rights. And a lot of people that are part of this structure and are afraid to break free were voting for those retrograde laws, but those were wrong. Like anybody with a heart and uh, and the soul knows that bringing more children into the world by families who are not ready to take care of them into countries that don't have the means to take care of them either, because you can say, yeah, like you can have an abortion, or you can give your you don't need, like one of the arguments would be you don't need to have an abortion because you can take your child to an adoption center. But have you really looked into what happens in adoption centers? I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but basically those things that were like we were like stepping back, right? Like no, we had already earned rights for protecting women's bodies and like their autonomy. how come we're going back? Also, we saw it in Iran and Iraq. It's like all like women were already going to college, and all of a sudden they're not allowed in college anymore. Like we're going back into oppressing them. No, that's not gonna keep. Like that was Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius, just like bringing up where there might be injustices still, so we can see them clearly, and now we can cut them. Because after seeing what power has been trying to do, what the corrupt power has been trying to do, we're not putting up with that. And now, as Jupiter enters Aries, and these next few months, as Saturn goes direct again and covers all these degrees that it had been going retrograde in, we're going to see how these cases where women were put beneath the more powerful male counterparts, like the Johnny Depp trial, and and here we're like, even in Guatemala, in my country, where abortion rights were beginning to be taken away again. All that is going to be seen again. Like we're going to be seeing all that stuff in the news again. And there's going to be a favorable turn for the human side of this. So this is not just about like women's rights or like who's more like who needs more rights than the other. It's about freedom and it being human, about the collective and the well-being of everyone. So that's going to be nice to see in the coming year. And there's gonna be like, I'm always gonna be positive, but we will see fire. Like we will see fire. It's not gonna be like rainbows and butterflies. There's gonna be fire because of Jupiter and Aries. And Uranus is still in Taurus, so that's a lot of like shaking up the material stability of things. And by material stability of things, I mean like literally houses, like the volcano eruptions, the earthquakes, the bombing. It's gonna be a part of it. I'm sorry to say. And okay, so let's begin with the signs. Now I'm gonna go explaining sign by sign where the most powerful energy and where the major shifts for each sign are gonna happen. Let me just fix my screen. I want to see if I'm still recording. Yes, I'm still recording. You can see the dog. That's not my dog. That's my brother's dog. His name is Gilgamesh. And we love him. He just came to like bite my hand because I called his name. All right. I don't mean to scare anyone with like the Taurus and material world shaking. I just want to see, like, I'm just making forecasts. But let's go to Aries. All right. So for Aries, the energy has been all about people, all about others. Aries, who is a very, may I say, me first sign, is actually has been thinking about everyone else for this time being. The relationships, the partnerships have been put to a test. They've been crazy networking everywhere, and that ability to network has brought great results in like new partnerships. So whatever it is, if it's just one-on-one partnerships, even if it's a romantic or business or social partnership, the relationships in which Harry's has been shoulder to shoulder are going to be very special during this time. So so what Aries learned, I'm going to go with you, first person. What you, Aries, have been learning during these months is how to treat people, and how you and what you do defines your relationships with others, especially your one-on-one relationships, but also your networks, the people that you see every day while you go to work and when you run errands. and also the people who look at you from afar, like the people who see you on social media or the crowd. So your reputation has changed, and from all this networking that you've been doing, you've realized that the way in which you make money has to change. So what you give to the others, and not just your one-on-one relationships, but to the world. So whatever you do, you're giving. Usually, when you're doing something, you're either giving or taking. Hopefully, you're giving, because if you're taking, then you're just gonna get selfish. But like that is going to change. You're going to learn a new way in which you give to society, because you're going to stop giving to society in the way you've been giving. And that's after coming to a realization that the way you've been giving might have been a little selfish. So you went through a change, and you've been thinking a lot, and this big change at a subconscious level has led you to realize that what you give and what you put out there has to change, and you've let go of doing things the way that you used to. Probably let go of some pretty meaningful relationships in the recent time, and now all of a sudden you're earning money in ways which you've always wanted to earn money, but you didn't realize that you really could earn money that way, because like whatever we grew up seeing as the right way to make money, it's changed completely now. And especially for you, Aries, during this time, you've had an epiphany, because the people who were really successful while you were growing up and the way they made money is not the same way that people are going to be successful nowadays. And you kept on pushing yourself back and not doing something that you really wanted to do for some years now, but you always had it in the back of your mind. And all of a sudden, the universe is just like giving you opportunities without you planning it, but rather just they're just coincidences that are showing up. And all of a sudden, you're earning money here and there casually from the thing that you've always wanted to do, but you've never quite had the motivation to really do it. And I'm playing with my dog while I do this. And yeah, so the big changes of this eclipse for Aries, they're gonna be letting go of what you've been putting, of the way that you put things out there, like letting go of how you show up to relationships and in your network, and adopting new ways of earning your life. So new ways to make the money that you feed and put a roof over your head with. Now, Taurus. I'm gonna get comfortable, because these are a lot of signs that we're gonna be talking about. And so Taurus, I mean, like the one who never changes, the one who's been doing the same thing forever, you're changing. You've been changing. You've been doing stuff this year that you've never done before. And actually, it's been a couple of years, because when was it? I think it was 2016. You started getting uncomfortable. Like all of a sudden, all these things are pressuring you to move out of your routine. And by now, you're just a different person. So look back pre 2016 and the new things that started like making you change. And I'm saying new things, but it's more like you were in your rabbit hole and somebody lit fire in that rabbit hole and you had to get out of there. That's how it felt. Like it wasn't like, "Oh, I think I might change." No, it was like the world started pressuring you and throwing obstacles at you and surprises or opportunities, and you've changed because of that. So now you've let go of, since you've changed so much over these past years, you had to let go of really meaningful relationships and make space. So So right now you're gonna see that, and that might be a challenging time for Taurus because you're gonna be saying goodbyes, maybe to woman figures, maybe to female figures. There's gonna be a couple of goodbyes during this season, and you're gonna have to wish them well and know that whoever's leaving or whoever left, whether it was because they wanted to leave or whether it was because they died or something, those changes are part of life, and there's going to be a space made in your life for you to evolve and for you to become a new you. So a lot of the energy that you're going to be seeing right now is like a loss somewhere or a goodbye and something new coming in, or your person, like not something new coming in, but rather you becoming someone new because of that goodbye that you had to do. And there will be a new you born after this. You're going to have a new personality, a new way. The world is going to see you under a different light. And that's because of the changes that have been coming. So you're going to be spending a lot of time with your subconscious during this year. And just change, like, you've had hardships, a lot of hardships in your reputation and your career life. And all this pressure that you've been feeling in work, in the office, or in your career, if you're like if you're out there in the public, there's been a lot of pressure. How the people in your company see you, how like the bigger crowd sees you has put pressure on you during this year, and you've felt restrained somehow. And now with the big changes that are going in, that are gonna be happening in your close relationships, who you're gonna be letting go, could be a business relationship that you're letting go of. Maybe you've been in a business for a really, really long time, like maybe working for a company, maybe not just the same company, but maybe working in the same way for a company, and you need to say goodbye to that company, and it's gonna feel like a tremendous loss, but it's gonna bring a new you. And you've already been doing things differently. You're gonna spend the next few months like figuring out this new way that you're putting a roof over your head, and who your new person is, like who you are now after all these changes. You're getting more into technology. Like if you were reluctant to use technology for work, or if you were reluctant to use technology in your life, like over the past few years, you've been getting social media, or you've been getting the app that they tell you that your work should have, and testing around new ways of doing stuff in your daily life. Now, Geminis have been having a lot of fun. Geminis have a lucky streak right now. A very lucky streak. So you have Mars in your sign, which has been giving you crazy amount of energy. And I mean, like Geminis always have a crazy amount of energy, but now with Mars in your sign, and it's gonna be there till March 2023. It's gonna be a lot of physical force. So right now, you Geminis, you feel like strong, and you also feel lucky. So you've been shedding old spiritual beliefs, getting new ones, getting your personality like revived. Like you're you, but you're you with more energy. So you feel like you're not just you, but you can share yourself with everyone. And you have been giving and thinking a lot about what you can create to give into the world. And with this eclipse, you're going to realize that the way you lead your life every day is super important, to what you sow, to what you get in return. So you're going to be getting a new routine. The way you wake up in the morning, the way you, what you do before bed, what you do when you wake up, your systems, what you eat, what you ingest culturally, right? Like what you're reading and what you're watching. You've been revising that, and you realize that now, like, you know what you want to give to the world. You know that you have the ability to create this gift, and you want to put it out there and you want to give it to the world. And in order to do that, you're going to have to restructure your systems. And by systems, I mean your daily routines, including the food you eat and the books you read and TV shows you're watching, like all that. So you're going to be really looking into the fine details of what you're putting in your body and what you're putting your body through on a daily basis. And it's going to change your life, right? You're going to start getting really lucky. When you make that effort to close YouTube an hour before bed and open a book, you're going to start realizing that it brings good luck. And it's a beautiful coincidence of life that when you do things right, right things happen to you. So Geminis are going to start receiving gifts from the stars, gifts from heaven, they would call it in Jyotish. And it's going to be a very fortunate time for Gemini. Because your routines are going to be positively affecting your personality. Always assuming that you're going for high vibe routines, because I will say it, if you choose the low vibe routines, you're gonna block it. So you don't want to do that, or you might get it, but it's not gonna be as grandiose. But don't block it. Just do the high vibe. Choose high vibe always, and don't forget to have fun. Gemini will never forget how to have fun. Keep it up. Don't be hard on yourself. This year is, and with this eclipse, it's all about just setting the structures in your daily life in order for you to be able to give that into the world that you want to give. And you've had like surprises at a subconscious level where you feel that you're more connected to your intuition and that you can hear the voices or the messages that your intuition is trying to send you more clearly. You've had in the past year like random moments when you realized that you knew that was going to happen before it happened, and you knew that. So now you realize that you sometimes have this clarity, and this clarity that you have where you know what's going to happen before it happens can only happen if you're taking care of yourself, if your routines are taking care of your body, if you're eating a healthy diet, if your mind is clear of noise, so like out of drama, and you like it when you realize that, okay, if I eat well and if I sleep well and if I have peace in my atmosphere, then I can listen to my intuition, and if I listen to my intuition, I get good luck, because I go and I am at the right place and at the right time because my intuition leads me there. So that's a beautiful connection to spirituality that Gemini is developing right now. You're going to be your own guru. You're going to learn that there's a guru inside yourself, and that's going to help you to give that thing that you want to put out there. Either it might be like an entrepreneurial project, or a creative endeavor, or a social project. Could be a social project. It could be that it could be, and that would give you a lot more luck than you would already have. But if what you're giving into the world is for society, to make society better, to improve the well-being of the mass, not just your friends, not just your small group, not just your job, but the people who are everyone's out there, that's going to be very lucky, and that's going to be very important for you right now. So congrats, Gemini, for the great year coming. And Cancer, Cancer, you're learning that you have the ability to create something beautiful. And after spending some time at home and having to give in to your home life, maybe more than what you wished, you realize you're coming out of that like nurturing place that you've been in for about a month, maybe a little bit more, and you realize that like what you can give and what you're willing to give in to the world and to put out there, and how you can express yourself creatively. So whatever you were doing before, whether it was blocking you creatively or it just wasn't flowing right, you're going to change it. So for example, if before you were drawing and focusing on illustrating, now you're going to begin making sculptures, for example. So you're going to change your craft. Whatever you do creatively is changing. And you're going to have the ability to make money from it. You're going to realize that your creative gift is something that you can monetize, and that you're going to have good luck monetizing this year. And you've also had surprises, and you will be lucky, and you will continue to be lucky in this time. First, you have to clean out. So something you were holding on to a way in that you were holding on to, like how you give your creative gift to the world, that needs to change, and that's been changing. And you realized it at home. You were at home for some time, and then you realized that you can't keep creating what you've been creating, how you've been creating it, because it's not bringing you good profits or it's not bringing you good results. So it's got to stop. You're going to have to say goodbye to that. And you're going to find new ways to give your creative gift into the world. And there will be luck with that because you're giving it to the world. Yeah, your energy feels blocked right now. So you feel like a restraint on your energy and your willpower. You felt maybe over the past year and still this year a little bit like things have been a little bit blocked. There's a reason why we're here, and for you it's kept you like it's got to do with your home life. So something at home that was blocking your energy is moving, and it's going to help you change and let go of the way you were doing stuff before, and you're going to start doing them brand new. Leo. For Leo, it's all about communication right now. And this is my cat. Her name is Sylvester. Talking about Leos, right? And we love her very much. So, Leo, for you, it's all about communication, all about your friends, your siblings, and getting into the same page with them. So, there's going to be a lot of communication with your friends that are almost like siblings to you, or your really close coworkers. But what are like these people that are people that you see every day, and you're going to be communicating with them and making making plans, maybe travel plans. There's gonna be something to do with you're gonna let go of something that you were doing before with this close group of people that you see every day, and you're gonna let go of whatever that energy was, and there's gonna be some either spiritual or international travel that you're gonna be doing in the coming months, and it's directly gonna impact your reputation and how the crowd sees you. And whatever block you felt in relationships until now will change in a few months and will be released March. I want to say March next year. But here, the most important themes is how your energy and your willpower, like how your Kundalini energy, has been affected by the people that you see every day. So there's going to be a change. Either you're going to go of groups, or yeah, you're going to have to let go of some people that you were seeing every day and that are there in your daily routines. Either letting go of them or the way that you've been handling your relationship. It's going to have to change because it's been affecting your energy, and because of the effect it's been having on your energy, on your reputations. As that clears, so will the block that you feel in your one-on-one relationships. And you've been so energized. You've been moving around long distances, and you'll continue to move long distances through March. Now, Virgo, see this. Yeah, so Virgo also has this theme of taking care of your energy. Sorry, Virgo, you have this theme that you're gonna start taking care of your intrinsic energy a lot more. You're gonna feel a boost, and that's gonna begin almost immediately in the coming week or two, where all of a sudden your intrinsic motivation is gonna have you running all over the place. You're gonna be super strong, like physically strong. You're gonna be really strong, really, really strong, and you're gonna have a lot of manifestation energy. You've been learning new things, and you've been coming to realization of what the truth is for you. So whatever your philosophy was before, it's new now. Like you're getting a new philosophy, and you're getting new friends, and you're going to start seeing different people on a daily basis. So whoever you were hanging out with every day is changing, and this is happening because you're coming into new spiritual beliefs or into new philosophy of life, or vice versa. Because you're coming into a new philosophy of life, the people you've been seeing every day are going to be different people, because you're just going to have a different energy and you're going to be wanting to go different places. And you've been focusing on work a lot. You've been able to show up to work every day with a lot of energy, and that's going to keep happening. And congratulations on that. Like, use this time to harness all this energy. Like, really use it, because it's not something that you're going to have a lot for a long time. 2023 for you is a year where your willpower and your manifestation energy is super, super strong. So I need to say, be careful with being too self-critical, and be careful with being too self-critical about what you're putting out there, or too critical of the things that you're doing that are being put out there, because there's whatever you put attention to will be magnified. So if you're looking at the dirty little details, like the details that are not perfect, you're gonna increase the non-perfect aspect of the things. So remember to look at the things that are working. Look at what is working. Say thank you. Every time you see something works, it's like, oh my God, the faucet works. I washed my teeth today because the faucet is perfect. That that's the energy that you're gonna need into your life. Stop it with the, oh my God, I made 3-course dinner, and it's magnificent. But a lot of Virgos know this. You're gonna be looking at that it's a little too crispy, but the chicken's a little dry, and there's and everything else is perfect, but it's a little dry. And it's not even dry, but you're just thinking it's dry because you have to find something that's not perfect. Don't do that. This whole year, make it your goal to not be a perfectionist this year, to just go for the abundance that's being given to you, and just don't kill progress for perfection. Let the perfection go and enjoy the progress that's happening. Next year you can perfect it. This year just let it come and let it be as it is, and be thankful for it. Say thank you, because yeah, you'll be manifesting everything that you're watching. Whether you're watching it happily or critically, you're going to get more of it. So don't look at what you don't like. We can hide it under the rug for a little bit. And Libra, this is a big one for Libra. This is a really big one for Libra. So letting go of the way you make money, again, it's a lot like Aries. It's the same themes. So letting go of how you make money and just getting it. I had to look at it for a while. Yeah, because right now, yeah, you will be letting go of an old job, but you will be so aligned and so clear in where you're going and where you need to be that it's going to feel like a blessing. It is a blessing. And you had been feeling a little restrained in in the creative process, and you felt like what you wanted to put out there has not really been put out there, and you haven't been able to put it out there the way you want to, and your energy has been a little low. But as you change the way that you're putting a roof over your head, and also like the money, like as you change the job you have, as you change what you do for a living, you're because you remembered who you are, right? Because there's been like a little bit of a slump. So you had to spend a lot of time like really introspective. And now, this past October, you've been learning so much about yourself that you remembered who you are. And all of a sudden, you had this moment of clarity where you remembered who you are, and what you love about yourself. And you got magnetic, and you're becoming just like this. Remembering who you are is turning you super magnetic, and you're going to realize that your power, that Scorpio power that we were talking about at the beginning of the video, where you're a seed and from that seed you get a tree, but there's no tree in the seed. Like, how does that happen? That energy of like making things happen out of nowhere, which is basically magic, you have that, and you're learning how to use your magic because you're remembering who you are. So the more you love yourself, and this month is all about self-love for you, and the more you love yourself, the more you realize what you deserve, the more confident you are, and you're attracting what that thing is. So now that you know now that you've remembered who you really are, and you're gonna start aligning yourself with who you really are, because maybe you hadn't been yourself lately, and that's where you were in a rut, and that's why you couldn't really be creative, and you you felt a block with your energy. So you've been taking good care of yourself, of your routines. You've been listening to a lot of music, and doing and yeah, and that's helping you get back into yourself. So you're a new you. It's a rebirth type of moment for Libra, and the focus would be in harnessing this willpower energy, harnessing that energy that allows you to manifest, to attract, and to get into alignment with what you desire, with who you are, and just being grateful for how the magic works. You're gonna love it. There will be travel. There will be gurus. You're gonna be getting epiphanies from spiritual leaders or from a teacher, a university type of teacher, or a spiritual guru, and um, and that's been helping you a lot realize who you are and what you're here for and what you want in your life and what you don't want in your life too. Before we get what we want, now that you remember who you are, before you attract yourself into the position and you align yourself into the position of who you really are, there needs to be shedding. So it's going to be the shedding of an old job, probably, or a home. Scorpio. Beautiful. So Scorpio's coming into a position of power right now. By letting go of the way that Scorpio communicates, it's you're gonna sorry, first person. Scorpio, you're gonna be coming into a lot of power right now because you're changing the way mostly that you communicate. So you realized that the way that you communicate has been negatively affecting what you can give into the world, and it's been needing to change. So there's been like a new restructurization for Scorpio of the way you communicate in your close relationships, which we know is it's pretty honest. Like it wants to be honest, it wants to be truthful, it wants to shed light. Like when Scorpio wants to say something and is too harsh, it's because they're trying to say or to expose a truth that they believe from their heart that should be exposed. So now, Scorpio, you felt punished and you felt that even though you come from the right place, the the results from the way you communicate have not been right. And that's been for a while. Where like these people can't take the truth would be a typical Scorpio comment that we've probably heard some Scorpios say before. Or I'm just being brutally honest. And that brutally, whether that's your physical or figurative home or just like being with family, you've had to be trapped. Like you were trapped right now in a house or with your family members or with people who are like home to you, that you realize that the way in which you move, in which you speak mostly has to change. And that comes from changing a perspective completely. So right now in the introspection that has been going on with the stellium 12th house for Scorpio, you realized a lot and how you have been responsible for getting yourself here. So what Scorpio's letting go of right now is yourself, Scorpio. Like whoever you were up until now has had to change. And you had to realize that by being trapped in your home somehow, or trapped in a home that wasn't the home that you wanted to be, like wanting to be somewhere else but not being able to be there because of home matters that had been also affecting your relationships. So you saw that it's like you couldn't show up to your relationships how you wanted to show up because problems at home were messing with your energy and your emotional well-being. So if you're not happy at home, if your home is not happy, you can't show up for others happy. You got to go step by step. So once you realized you had to fix the way you behave at home, you realized that you had to fix the way you behave. So you had to fix your personality and what you communicate and how you communicate. That's a tough one for Scorpio. So, but if there is a sign that can restructure itself, it's Scorpio. Like Phoenix rising, right? So right now you're killing yourself, your old self, and you're being born again. And it sucks because you gotta be dead for a while before you can reconstruct yourself. Like you're not just gonna like realize that you have to change and then change from one day to another. No. First, you've been realizing it for a whole year that you've been trapped in whatever home is for you, and whatever home or has not been home for you. Like maybe you couldn't find home, or like because so like home had been banned from you somehow, and you want to get home, but to get home you need to change you. And the law is from the communication and your way of processing things. So a very defensive Scorpio would immediately spit out venom when found in a position that they wouldn't want to be found. And the reason they spit out venom is because the logical process, it has to be rewired. So you've had to change your whole logical process, which being in this home or with these home boundaries have helped you realize that. And congratulations on shedding your skin, right? Because letting go of who you are not is the first step in getting where you are meant to be. There's going to be a lot of emphasis in your routines. You're going to be very strong this year, super, super strong. So, a lot of sports. I would definitely recommend a lot of sports. The higher intensity, the better. If you have a pool nearby and you can get into that pool and swim, do it as much and as often as possible. Just because the water energy will cleanse you and help you get rid of all the stuff that you have to get rid of. And you need to be in physical motion because if not, you're going to be yelling and you're going to be angry. You don't want to be angry and you don't want to be yelling. Scorpios, my dearest, you gotta be doing physical activities that take that energy away from you in healthy ways. Eating healthy too, please. And congratulations, because you're gonna be, since you've shed it, this old way of being, this old way of communicating, and this way of, and whatever you've been doing at home has changed, then now you're also welcoming relationships that will be better for you, that are destined, because these are North Node relationships that are coming in for you right now. So they're destined. That's beautiful. All right. Sagittarius. And we gotta love Sagittarius. There's there's a lucky time for Sagittarius right now. Mainly, if you have been restrained from your family or your friends, so you haven't really been going out there with your friends, but you've been giving in your one-on-one relationships and in a social project of some kind. So there's something to do with a big network, a long distance, and like not just friends, but like the people in your society that you've been focused on. And you want to give something to your society. And whatever project you've been working at home for society, and there's been a lot of energy in your home life, so you've spent a lot of time in your house with music and art probably, and all this time that you've spent nurturing yourself, not really going out with friends but staying at home, has helped you realize what you want to give out there to the world. And you are learning, just like Gemini, that your daily routines and the way you place your daily systems have a profound influence on what you can give to the world. So what you've been giving into the world and what you can give into the world and the time you've been spending at home has just like changed the way you're thinking, and you're going to be spending a lot of time in your subconscious. This is going to be a little quiet time for Sagittarius. So realizing what you can give to the world and what you need in your house has and not being with people, like being a little bit of a hermit right now has it's changing your subconscious. So right now your subconscious mind will be reprogrammed. So there's going to be like a quiet time. You're going to be alone for a while, and maybe not alone, but at home with like few people. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, and that's nothing you have to worry about. On the contrary, cherish it, because we don't always have time to be home alone. So reading books, listening to music, um, art. Do a lot of art. You're gonna want to do a lot of art, and putting art or some kind of music, painting, illustration, something something that like that into your daily routines. It's gonna help you connect more to your subconscious. You're gonna be able to hear voices, maybe not voices, maybe pictures, maybe claircognizance, but basically you're gonna be in touch in a completely new way with your intuition. So you're gonna let go of the way that you communicated with yourself before, and the way that you were speaking to yourself in your mind is changing. You're not gonna speak to yourself how you were speaking to yourself 2 years ago. The way, like everything that happened this year that forced you to be away from your friends and just with your family or with yourself in your house has led you to connect to yourself and to your intuition in a deeper level. And because of being more connected to yourself and your intuition in a deeper level, you're gonna change what you do every day. So whatever you were doing every day is gonna change. And I will repeat, put music and art in there because it's just gonna be so good for your creative expression. Capricorn. I love Capricorns. I love all the signs, but there's a few signs that I love more than others. Scorpio and Capricorn and Sagittarius. This corner is just my favorite. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry, all the other signs and Pisces too. But we'll skip over Aquarius because personal reasons. But I'm not kidding. But don't take it personally, Aquarius. And sorry, back to this Capricorn. All right. Ooh, okay, so Capricorn, you felt like restrained in the only place where you don't want to feel restrained, and that's how you make your money. Like, why have you not been able to make money like you used to? Like, what's going on? And it's got to do with your creative, whatever you're giving out into the world, your creative gift for the world. Either you have to change it. It's changed. The way you give out into the world has changed, and that's been because of this boundaries in the way you earn the money that you use to feed yourself and to put a roof over your head. So that's changed completely in the past 2 years, and because that's changed, you've also changed the people who you see every single day, and you've changed sorry you've changed sorry, let me begin again. I lost my trail of thought. Right, okay, so because of not being able to reap what you wanted to be reaping in money matters, you have come to realizations about what you really should be doing, and you've been trying and you've been changing the method consistently because you haven't really been getting the results you wanted. And now there's going to be like an epiphany that you get from letting go of the bigger group. So most of the people, like not your personal relationships, but the everyone, like whoever follows you on social media, and like the people who are not, who you don't invite to your intimate dinner parties, but everyone, like the people who you talk to when there's going to be a big party and you want to send them all to like the big party, they will change, mostly because you realize that they were not the vibe that you needed, and your whole personality is going to change completely. Like you felt so much pressure lately, and there's going to be a few more moments of intense pressure during these months as Pluto moves out of your sign, and then you're going to feel a breather, and you're going to realize that that gift and that thing that you can give out into the world, it's gonna change, right? It's gonna change. It's always gonna be stable, but it's just your priorities will be changing. So before going into this change, you're gonna be experimenting and you're gonna be visiting a lot of different experiences. You're gonna be going around and meeting a lot of different new people and making people happy. You want to have fun. Like you're gonna realize new ways, healthier ways to have fun, and you've been meeting a lot of people and you've been doing a lot of new stuff and putting new things into your routine, and that's going to help you shed whatever bigger group of people you had been with, and you're going to get like a new network, a new larger network, and that's going to help you feel like a new person. And you are going to feel pretty much like a new person, and you're going to feel like whatever you're giving out into the world now, it does satisfy you. It is like it to a soul level, because whatever like whatever that boundary in your work, or the different types of works that you've been trying to do, why you kept on like reaching this like stopping point or like hitting a wall, is because it wasn't meant for you. It wasn't something that would nourish you in a soul level, and and it's going to become more clear in the next month that what you're here to give into the world needs to help everyone. And your gift into the world is going to be like a gift for society, and you're going to be clearer on it. Like you're already wrapping your head around it now and you see where you're going, and then in about a month, when once the eclipse happens, you're going to see a change in who you want around you. You're going to be certain now, and after March 2023, you're going to be there. So right now is when you realize who the people you want around you are. You're going to be cutting out and letting go of big groups of people that no longer serve you, and you're going to be making space for the people that do. So right now you're looking around because you know that where you are right now, it's not where you want to be. So you're just like looking around, and you're going to keep looking around during the end of this year and the beginning of the next, and then by March you're going to be in a new place with a new project that you're focused on to give to the world, and the boundaries and the limits that you felt of what your work or what you do to earn your money are going to be removed. So congrats. By spring next year you will have a new job, new friends, and a big gift to give to the world. because that's what this eclipse is giving. It's clearing what you've been giving out, what you've been putting out there right now to for society to see has not been your true self. So whatever you've been putting out there for society to see and what you've been the society that you've been nurturing is changing and you're realizing it's like, wait a minute, that's not really me. This is more me. And then the society that's watching you, like whoever watches you on social media and stuff, that bigger society will be different than whoever your audience and the people who are around you are right now. And there's gonna be a lot of influence on your home life. So it's going to be important for you to feel really comfortable in the home that you're in. And you're going to make yourself even more comfortable because you're going to be spending a lot of time at home, probably working on your creative gifts to give to the society that you want to help. The Mainly because your whole personality has been receiving karma. So whatever you well, maybe it hasn't been tough. If you've been doing the stuff, the high vibe stuff, then you're doing really good right now. But if you were doing stuff that was not high vibe, you're going through it right now and you're feeling like whatever you've been doing up until now, you're getting the rewards or the consequences, which is tough. Um, which can be tough if it's consequences instead of rewards. If it's rewards, good for you. And there's been a lot of need for you to travel right now. Like you want to get out there. You're gonna want to get out there more. Your spiritual way of thinking, your spiritual beliefs, the truth, whatever you hold as true in your mind and heart has changed, and that has led you now to have to let go of a reputation because since your truth changed, you change and your reputation changes, and you're getting a new reputation right now. And yeah, you're gonna let go of some pretty strong spiritual truth or beliefs that you've been holding on to. And this pressure that you've felt from like the karma of whatever's been shown to you of what things need to change about yourself, about your personality, that's led you to a spiritual awakening. And this spiritual awakening is making you say goodbye to what you thought was true before. So whatever you were holding on to, like super rigidly strong, like super rigid, and you just realize it's not true. And you realize it's not true because you've been hammered at during this past 2 years. And and now that you lose that truth and you don't hang on to it, like even hurting your hands to hang on to it so strongly. Now you realize that maybe you had been hurting yourself a little bit, like trying to hold on to those beliefs, and being able to let go of those beliefs now with this eclipse, it's just gonna open the door for you, and the people you see every day and the way you behave at home is gonna change. So you're gonna have surprises in your home and in your house, like things that you never expected to happen in your house are going to be happening. And since your spiritual beliefs and your core beliefs changed, the way you behave at home is going to be changing. And the people you want around you and the friends and that you want, the friends that you let into your house that are really close friends will be changing. And you're gonna get new ones that are like pretty destined. So whoever you're meeting right now, like in your friend group, and the way you're thinking and whatever's happening in your home life, it's pretty destined. Like it's supposed to be happening. You do need to let your mind. This is for Aquarius. It's like opening the mind, and because Aquarius is so Saturnian, I mean, discipline is. you've had a lot of discipline this past year. Like this year, you've with whatever's been like banging down on you, it's been you've had to be disciplined, and like you don't, maybe you didn't even have a choice. So your structures have become more sturdy because you've had to make them sturdy. Like you've had to make changes to your structures in order to make that sure that you can fall back on your habits to, and your habits will make you and keep making you like show up because you have to show up. So now just like like, and this brought a lesson, like showing up and being disciplined and having to be disciplined this whole time. It teaches you, it teaches you slowly, and it's something, and it's not just something that you learn at a mental level, but it's wisdom. It's something that you learn at like a soul and body level. So whatever karma you've been reaping, you've been receiving a lot of wisdom and big life lessons with it. So big that your whole spiritual belief system changed. And you will begin to communicate it. You're going to start communicating how your new way of thinking and the way you speak, because even the way you speak is going to change or has been changing. And that's just going to influence your life, your home life. So right now your close friends in your home life is changing for the better because of the karma that you reaped and the wisdom, that the discipline that you had to have during this past few years showed you. Pisces, another favorite. Yes, we can have favorites. We can do whatever we want, and we're not free from the consequences of whatever we want to do. And so, Pisces dream world has been boundaried up. What happened here? So Pisces, you know you love to dream. You know that beautiful daydream state, and it hasn't been flowing like it used to. There's been blocks. There's been communication and creative blocks, and you've had to communicate more and be here in this world more than in your subconscious. So you've been very present this year, and there's been earthly matters calling to your attention that have taken you out of the dream world. And now with this eclipse, you're gonna let go, also like Aquarius, of some spiritual beliefs and way of being. So let me look at this because it's weird, because why is it still in the ninth house? So you've been focused on your energy, and you've been transforming yourself. That's it. Some earthly matters took you out of your dream world and made you realize that you have to change. And whatever changes have to be made are going to be directly impacting your career. And you're gonna want to be traveling a lot. You're gonna get beautiful surprises in your daily routines, and you're gonna be doing stuff like running errands and like going to a bank and to grocery store, and these things that you do every day. You're gonna get some serendipity moments where you're gonna be taken into a better career, or your reputation. Somehow you're gonna get some sort of beautiful coincidences that lead you to change either your career or to travel very far and change your country, or just your town, like the place that you've been living in will change, the career will change, and you're gonna have to let go of an old reputation or an old career or like who you were known as. So if your career was dentist and you were known as the dentist, and all of a sudden you're like in in the line at the shopping mall, and you come to a realization or somebody gives you an offer to do something that is more adequate to what you really want to do, and it's got to do with communication. So something about the way you communicate or something that you can communicate into the world is gonna change the way in which you make profits during this next year. And there's gonna be a whole transformation to your psyche. And Pisces is all about the psyche. So Pisces, you live more in the subconscious world, the world of dreams, than in this physical one. Something is bringing you out of the world of dreams into the physical world. So you might have to travel, and the travel might just be out of your dreams and into the material world. And you're going to be changing the groups that you see every single day. You're going to be communicating a lot and with small specific group, like not the big group that sees you in social media, but the people you really see, the people like that you look at every single day, not the ones that are on your phone, but the ones that are in the real world. And there's going to be communication with them, and it's going to be stable, and it's going to be a start, and it's going to be stable, and it's going to go on for a while, and you're going to change the way you talk to yourself, the way you communicate with your subconscious, and the way you communicate to others in your small group. And with that, the way you make money. It's all going to be related. All right. And that's the astrological forecast for the Scorpio eclipse in Taurus. What? No. The new moon eclipse in Scorpio this October. When the Taurus eclipse comes, I will talk about that too, but I think we still have another week for that.